Hi, I'm Ricky. I've been around on YouTube for a little while with my other exploits, electric bikes, and some videos on that sort of thing. But yeah, really getting into it a bit more with my home brew now. I brew on a eHerm system I built myself a couple of years ago. It's made out of three 50-litre stainless pots. I've got a couple of Chinese mains powered magnetically coupled pumps, and a Herms coil in the 50-litre HLT. It slows down ramping a little bit, but it's not too bad. I've got 4.5 kilowatt element in both the HLT and boil kettle. My panels run wide so it can run both at once, although it's only fed through a 32 amp circuit. I had the socket for that installed by an electrician just below my switchboard, because I'm planning on a major garage upgrade and might have to upgrade the electrics at some point, as the house only has a 63 amp feed. So I do have to be a bit cautious if I start pushing my brewing equipment hard. I do run the HLT and the boil kettle at the same time sometimes. I use the fact that the PID I have on the boil kettle can run in a fixed pulse width mode, so I run that at 50% duty cycle and the other one at 100%. It'll never trip the breaker like that because they work on averages and it's cycling once a second. I did cheap out a bit on the power cable to the control box. Used it's a nice cable, 2.4mm squared cross section of the wires. That's a little bit light for the average 30 odd amp that I can pull out of it, but it's 105 degrees C rated cable, and it's in the air. It's good enough for what I wanted. I can accept the volt drop over it to get outside onto my deck. Well, I called this brew the Buggered Knee Triple, in honour of my accident a few years ago where I busted my leg through the bottom of the knee and ended up the plate and 7 screws in there. And it's still giving trouble. Anyway, it's basically a Belgian triple style beer, 9.5%. I use Mangrove Jack's M31 Belgium triple yeast. I used 1 pack of that because it's all I had, and did a 3-litre starter with that and shook it vigorously multiple times over a few days. Seemed to produce plenty of yeast. I did use 5 grams of yeast nutrient, whether I needed it or not, I'm not certain, but it seemed to ferment fairly well. When I actually brewed it, it was my OG was a bit too low. I fixed that though. I just boiled up about 400 grams of dextrose and a little bit of water and added that to the fermentation vessel later that evening. I figured it didn't matter, it was appropriate for the style, so it was okay. This thing, for a 23-litre batch, it got what do we hear? 6.7 kilograms of Gladfield Pilsner malt, the German one, so Gladfield German Pilsner. I put 200 grams of Gladfield Aurora malt. That's an aromatic malt grown here in New Zealand and made in New Zealand. I added 500 grams of raw sugar in the last 10 minutes of the boil, and 200 grams of dextrose in the boil as well. Yep, did use a wheel flop for this one. And the hops were should have probably swapped the battery over. That's better. The old Nike heads on the still pretty sad, so and the 1 minute to go addition of 20 grams of Czech Saz. And the 10 minute addition of 5 grams of yeast nutrient and a little bit of water. And the fermenter slowly filling. Another 24 bottles all sanitised and ready to go. And now I thought we'd crack one of these open, see how they actually are, see if they're any good. Nice hiss off the top. Being a bit aggressive, they've been carving up in the cold, so it might not be perfect. On the bore. Yep, it smells a bit of bananas in there. Yep. Just dive in, have a look. Yep, there's a bit of banana-y type flavour from the yeast there. Quite neat. The first time I've actually tried any beer of that style. The Belgian Triepel. I've normally been using just USO5 or USO4 yeast for my brews, so it's my first venture out to something a bit different. Yeah, that is carbing up. I did try one of these a week ago, and it was a bit low on carbonation. They've been sitting around for a couple of weeks, but the house temperature's not been particularly warm, with probably 10 to 15 degree range cycling during the day. It's now got to the point I've started turning heaters on, so but save power where I could. Yeah, it's quite nice. Yeah, probably brew something like this again, I think. Nice change from the usual stuff. Bit of banana type flavour, bit of, I suppose, it's spiciness in there as well. This is hopped with Czech Saaz.